Hey there everybody, it's me Alex, and today I'm going to be talking about Scourge OutBreak, Ambrosia Edition. This was the remake of an Xbox Live game, Scourge OutBreak, and yeah, I just want to talk to you guys about, maybe give a little bit of the, kind of like a review at first, and while talking about a little bit of this. Right now I'm playing PvP multiplayer. Team Deathmatch with the bots. The bots are actually quite formidable. The only thing that is disappointing about them is that you can't do capture the flag. You only can do deathmatch and team deathmatch with the bots, and they're very cheap. If they get close enough, they'll use the energy powers. They often don't use the shield powers, but they do the shockwave powers and will one-shot people pretty quickly. The actual story portion of it, the campaign, the squad of 4. I'm playing as Stonewall. Stonewall Jackson, because he has kind of a southern voice. I think that's what they were going for when they were doing it. And that was Amp, who just died. But yeah, the 4 squad members, known as Echo Squad, do a mission where if they have to infiltrate a science lab facility in order to find out what these people have been doing. They go inside. The secondary squad, known as Alpha Squad, which, by the way, what happened to Beta and Charlie and Delta Squad? But that's another side. They go in at the same time, and the basic plot portion of it is supposedly Alpha betrays Echo Squad by shooting at their ship. Not sure how. And it continues down the rabbit hole of semi-inconsistencies for what goes on in the plot. There's a major plot twist overall where it kind of puts into question more about what actually happened, why everyone spoke in mysteries. Whew. I think that's a prime example of how easy it is to get killed in this game. And this is more of a semi-serious cover-based shooter, where if you're out in the open, you'll get in trouble pretty quickly. Although in the PvE, in the multiplayer portion, the guys have a lot less health than they do in the campaign. Not much of a difference, but a noticeable difference on how many shots one can take. But yeah, like I said, that's pretty much the entirety of the story here. I'm trying to pick up as many weapons as I can to show them off. Like this is the Chimera, or the Chimera, and it's basically a minigun. All the guns have a kind of like a blind mode where you're not holding down the right click to aim, and with the minigun you do not get a reticule regardless, which I think is kind of weird, but as you can see they can quickly drop people because of the reduced health that they have in multiplayer mode. But anyways, like I said, back to the actual story portion, the campaign. The story has a major plot twist, and it has about 4 boss battles. 1 in chapter 1, I think 1 in chapter 2, 2 in chapter 3. Oh, then and then a 4th one in chapter 4. The only one that I ever had a complaint about was the dropship boss, because in the previous version, the one that was released for the Xbox Live, they made it to where the dropship could take damage from gunfire if you shot at the vital locations. And then in the update version, they made it to where only explosives could do something. It was really bad. Especially since both me and my friend who first tried it didn't notice there was a rocket launcher in the back. You had to go up an elevator and crap, so it wasn't immediately easy to see, but there was a lot of grenades we could throw, and so we chucked grenades for about 20 solid minutes before we could beat that boss. And overall, yeah, there's some negative things about the game. Like, the negative thing is, the story is a little inconsistent. And then also the HP is pretty inconsistent. Like, it's not really well known at all in this game. There's no real indicators on how many bullets one could take before dying. And I really want to show this. Oh, that's so great. The thing that's really cool about the game is that shotguns are a little useful, but the most important thing is that they have trying to run into things, like use their cover system, because you're supposed to press space, then get close enough, and then you like power slide and slam into the walls. It's very satisfying. Although sometimes, just like what you witnessed there, was that great. What you saw there is just that it's hard to tell what the gap distance is before you slam into the wall. The main thing that I really like for the gameplay portion of it is that almost every single weapon has a purpose that isn't that you can kind of tell pretty quickly. Like the Piranha is their version of a pistol, and that one is pretty consistent at doing like medium damage single shots, and like the spray is pretty tight on the reticle for the Piranha. What I'm using right now is the Firefly, and that one's more of a short to medium range rapid fire weapon that doesn't do too much damage. So you have to aim for critical locations like the head and stuff in order to do a lot of damage with it. And then the Barracuda is just completely short range. Grenades are grenades. Yeah, I'll stop going over all the weapons. The main thing that I like is that besides the base weapons, is you can pick up versions of the guns that have upgrades. Like some of them have a bonus to accuracy, and when they have an accuracy, they usually have. I picked up the rocket launcher right now. And the ones that have accuracy to it, they usually have like a laser sight to them, and you could efficiently blind fire. Not aim down the sights with it with the reticule. The laser sight's actually functional, and then. And overall, just being able to shoot without having to aim down the sights is actually pretty effective. It becomes, I think, relatively easy spotting, like up close, where the fire range is, like, the reticle's supposed to be before you aim. And so it gets pretty cool. Can we actually... Yeah, okay, there we go. I haven't played this map. And here's the turrets. You actually use a turret for one of the boss fights. It's not scripted as a boss fight, but it's practically a boss fight. And but yeah, blind firing is so well done in this game. Just because I know many I know many cover-based strategy, like shooting games, tactical games like Rainbow Six. Well, Rainbow Six is a first-person shooter, so. But yeah, I think you know what I mean. There are several games out there that do the third-person perspective cover system, where they don't do a reticule if you're not aiming down the sights, and then when aiming down the sights, you are effective. When you're not aiming down the sights, you're not effective. Come on, yes. And when you're aiming down when you're not aiming down the sights, you're pretty much not going to hit anybody. I know like Siphon Filter was that way. But no, Siphon you had to aim in order to fire to begin with, so never mind. My examples are being kind of poor right now. But yes, blind firing, not aiming down the sights, is pretty effective for almost all guns. And so it's really fun, like having a almost competent shooter for a game, The gameplay itself is kind of boring once you get play enough of it, because I played this before with a humanoid shaped person, and you pretty much have to open yourself up. Like, actually playing this as a tactical shooter is very dull because you're trying to be effective, and the guns are effective at doing their job, so therefore The only time people will get a kill is if they expose themselves, and you're not going to want to do that if you know what you're doing, you know, so it becomes a catch-22 of not wanting to go out, but then wanting to go out so you can get kills, and so treating it too seriously is a major problem with this game because of how strict that you have to be when firing in this game. So it has a very low replay value for the multiplayer version, and then the campaign is a hit and miss on a lot of the story arcs. But yeah, overall, it's a pretty decent game. Yeah, like you can get it for like $4 or $5. Yeah, it's definitely worth your time. You definitely want to play it with other human people because the AI in the story mode are beyond stupid. But in multiplayer, they're really well done. They'll actually do good techniques and kill people. But yeah, and because they're so bad in the campaign story, you have to, they have more health, so that way they don't die as easily. And you'll often use them for combat medics. Like, they'll do nothing important. So yeah, I think we're getting right. Yep, we're one more kill away. Okay. So yeah, this is pretty much Scourge OutBreak. Hope you guys enjoyed it. See you later.